the track, got me feeling like I'm in the league. Ease.
I'm in my element, don't care about relevance. I'm doing me, I'm in my element. We the new delegate.
Tapping and see. I'm in my element, back in my element. 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 This is easy as a layup. I don't show if you don't pay up. Long nights had to stay up. Put in hours while you late up. I can sit around and wait up. I'm gon' have to see you later. Giving tips like a waiter. Either tell them or you fade them. I'm in my element, back in my element. I'm in my element, back in my element. I'm in my element, back in my element. I'm in my element, back in my element.
I'm in my element, don't care about relevance. I'm doing me, I'm in my element. We the new delegate.
Tapping and see.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today. On this beautiful Tuesday, Reese is called NBHD Nick. I'll send you where I got it from. Called I'm in my element. Let's get to it, man. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. And as always, we want to make sure that we take massive action. Action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, setting yourself body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trust in your education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So let's do it. If everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat. Perfect. Appreciate it. While I'm changing over, what do you guys think about that song? What do you guys think about the music? Any feedback on it? Trying to find some thumbs up. Trying to find some morning music. All right, let's go. Yeah. Cool. So let's go here first. Euro area inflation slows 2.5%. Annual inflation rate in Euro eased 2.5% in June after briefly accelerating to 2.6 in May. And matched market forecast, preliminary estimates show prices rose at a slower pace for food, alcohol, tobacco, and energy, while inflation was steady for non-energy industrial goods and services. So we talked about some of the data starting to shift in the Eurozone, coming into alignment with some of those moves to the downside on the euro. So something definitely to watch. Eurozone jobless rate steady at a record low of 6.4%. Stood at all-time low of 6.4% in May, unchanged from April, and matched the market forecast. Still, the number of unemployed individuals rose by 38,000 from the prior month to 11.078 million. Meanwhile, youth employment rate reflected those under 25 seeking employment was 14.2%. So unemployment rate is steady. right? But it's starting to see inflation come down. Then yen continues to fall. All right, 38-year lows due to stark interest rate differentials between Japan and the US. The lack of urgency from the Bank of Japan to normalize monetary settings also weighed on the currency, although there's a growing speculation that the BOJ could hike rates next policy meeting. A weak yen pushes up import costs, adding to inflationary pressures and hurting household consumption. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Suzuki reiterated on Tuesday the government remains vigilant to currency moves, stating that the foreign exchange levels reflect complex mix of factors. Right, on the data front, second revision showed that Japan's economy contracted at an annualized rate of 2.9% in the first quarter, January to March. A sharper downturn from previous reading of 1.8 as revision of public works spending turned much weaker. All right, so things contracted a bit in Japan. So that could add a slight monkey wrench in the Bank of Japan's plan, but we'll see how additional data comes out. So that is that. Then oil is on the move to the upside. This is Brent crude futures rose 86.9 per barrel on Tuesday, hovering to an over 2-month high, driven by prospects of higher demand during the summer driving season. Projections of the American Automobile Association, AAA, showed a 5.2% annual growth in holiday travel, with car travel alone expected to rise by 4.8% from last year. Also, bets on the Federal Reserve cuts are supported by oil prices. After recent moderation in U.S. inflation sparked optimism on early rate cuts. The move is seen as potential boosting economic activity and demand. So that's that. Investors looking toward FOMC meeting minutes on Wednesday. Okay. And then non-farm payroll on Friday to gain further insights on the potential path of the Fed. On the supply side, markets initially anticipated disruptions to oil refining and offshore production from Hurricane Beryl. Forecasts now suggest the storm is more likely to impact oil production in Mexico's Bay of Capiche, something like that. So, but you also have, right, and this is something that isn't listed there, the war in Israel still expanding, right? There were recent strikes last night in other cities, and the Israel military is telling Palestinians to leave said city. So you have that also in the backdrop. That could also be impacting oil as well. All right. Then you have RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia. This isn't what I wanted to read, but there's an expectation of there's a concern of an upside to inflation. So that came out of the Reserve Bank of Australia. So that's where we are there. Over to the calendar. Swiss retail sales yesterday was down quite a bit, right? So it falls in line with where the Swissy is from a fundamental perspective. Then ISM services PMI for the dollar came in just below expectation. Manufacturing prices came in below expectation. Construction spending also came in below expectation. I didn't get a chance to read on President Lagarde's remarks there. Monetary policy meeting minutes. That's where this came from. Sorry, I was confused on this note here, but from the meeting minutes, they have a concern about the upside to inflation that was discussed during the last RBA meeting. So here, right, this is where we talked about inflation for the Eurozone, right? The core number ticked up a bit, but the flash estimate stayed the same. So we'll continue to watch the Eurozone to see what happens and see if the data starts to turn. Today we got Fed Chair Powell speaking at 9:30, Joe's job openings at 10. Tonight we got Australian retail sales. And then Wednesday, ADP non-farm employment change, unemployment claims, ISM services PMI, and FOMC meeting minutes, right? So big day on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we got CPI for the Swissy and parliamentary elections coming out of the UK. And then on Friday, our normal run-of-the-mill data points for Canada and the United States with non-farm payroll, investors looking there. All right. So any questions from a fundamental perspective? No. Oh. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing pretty good.
Good, good. Anything fundamentally for you, man, that you got your eyes on or that you saw that I
Uh,
missed?
mainly just waiting on. I'm interested to see what Lagarde has to say this morning. That's what I've got my eyes mainly focused on. Well, ears, right?
Yeah,
Uh, Focused on to see what she has to say after the CPI data from early this morning, because I know they're staying data dependent, right? They made the 25 basis point cut. They're staying data dependent in regards to cuts moving forward. So it's going to be interesting to see what their tone and rhetoric is today.
yeah, for sure. For sure. We will stay posted. We'll stay posted. Appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
All right, so let's hop over to the charts. We'll take a look at the dollar. We'll come back to that Euro Swiss. So DXY continuing to chug along, right? Continuing to chug along. Coming from back here where we talked about that break, continuing to press to the upside. So we're headed to that 106,386 level. Okay, had a nice pullback to retest. That daily resistance, now support, and we're headed to the upside. Okay. We'll see what the data says at the end of the week, but I don't know that the dollar slows down. Okay. I don't know that the dollar slows down. Um, so we'll watch and see how this goes. But we're headed north. We're headed north. Okay. The dollar yen, talking about 38-year lows for the yen, continues to press higher. Okay. Got a small push down, got to that 382 level, retested that daily support at 160 that we broke through. And now we're headed north, right? The extension in sights here on the 1 hour time frame. We bounce back to the 4. Let me take all of this out. And we see we're headed to the D extension on the 4. I think we got a larger fib too. Yeah. Let's take all of these smaller ones out. This is the one I wanted to see. Hit the D extension there on the 4. Right? So now we're on a reset on the 4 hour time frame. But straight up, right? Straight up. I don't, the Bank of Japan is trying to talk things down. The market does not care about what what the finance minister has to say, right? The market is looking for action, and there is none. So I don't know that this stops until the Bank of Japan actually takes action. I don't even know if we see corrections until the Bank of Japan takes action, right? They come with a ridiculous amount on an intervention, but it'd have to be way more than they did last time. So I don't see this slowing down. So there are some investors talking about, right? Ben was talking about this a few days ago. At one point, it was 150, right? Where the Bank of Japan to step in, and that would be the highest point. Then it was 160. Now the point is 170, right? Investors are looking at 170 as a high for this dollar yen and that yen to slip. And the way things are trending right now, beginning the month of July, they might be right. We might see this continue to push to the upside and get to 170 before the Bank of Japan makes a decision. And then maybe higher. So we'll continue to watch and see. But it's just rumbling north. So all of my original thoughts on things happening sooner out the window, right? And so now I'm just sitting back and just waiting on the fundamental side of it until it changes, right? Until it changes. So I I believe this at least 165 is in sight, and we definitely could get to 170 by the end of the month. So we shall see. All right. Questions on the dollar yen? I know walk backwards on that one, but it's a step outside of that frame and see it from a larger perspective. That's where we're headed. If you're gonna, that's up to you. I would want a low price to buy. So if I don't get a low price, then I'm not buying it. And I don't know if we get a correction. I really don't. Um, I really don't. So that'll be up to you and your trading plan if you make a decision like that. But my suggestion is wait on a pullback um, before taking a buy. Don't just jump in and try to catch it running up. That's never a good plan. So I don't know that we get a deep retracement though. I don't even know if we'll come back to this 160 level anytime soon, right? We might just continue to respect this trend line and bounce. Something like that. Yeah. So that's the end. All right. Let's take a look at this dollar CAD and dollar Swiss real quick. Dollar Swiss running to the upside. We're looking for a retracement. We were looking for a retracement to come here. We didn't get it. Price continued to run to the upside, got us to the D extension. Now we got a fresh AB boundary. This is on the 1 hour time frame. So this one continues to run north. Data on the Swissy continues to come in, kind of supporting their rate cuts. So we'll look for these just to continue to move to the upside here. Okay. If we get a low price, it'd be a good opportunity to buy it. So look for a retracement back into the zone. And then see if we get that CDD move there. Okay. Walking backward, right? That's the overall move. We got that 618 retracement. We're making our way to the matching D extension. So this has been a beautiful move so far. And we'll continue to allow it to go, right? This sub fib to the upside, we may not get that 80-20 on a deep retracement there. Maybe come back and just test that B boundary and then continue pushing to the upside, unless something drastically changes at the end of the week for the dollar, causing it to give a sharper pullback. But this could just continue running to the upside, and then we'll see what happens at 91, 112. Right, so we're headed north there. Okay, so beautiful move. If anybody's still holding that, continue to allow that thing to run. Okay, questions on the dollar Swiss?
Hard to go against the dollar right now.
It's hard to go against the dollar right now, bro. It is
Right.
hard.
So we talked about it coming into the year. It's a record year for politics and elections. You see what's going on in France right now with the snap elections, how that's impacting the euro. And then we've got here in the United States, right? So Trump was perceived as the winner of that last debate, if you call it a debate, whatever that was. But you see, the markets reacted, right? It strengthened the dollar because they look at Trump's potential policies, especially in regards to tariffs, just like he did last time, as inflationary,
Yep.
right? So that just added to the strength of the dollar. Now we got Jolt's job openings. We got non-farm coming up on Friday, which will help, which will tell us a lot. But right now, like I said, it's tough to go against the dollar right now.
You also had the Supreme Court come out and say that
Oh,
basically rule in his favor.
oh yeah, they they gave us a king yesterday. So yeah, so yeah, all of that impacts currency flows. It was crazy. It
Wild.
was crazy. It's disappointing. So, but for anybody that's in that position, that's a disappointing ruling. So, and then to kick the can down the road to come back to this to come back, to the lower courts. So, but yeah, all of that, right? So when we talked about it, politics, in regards to a record number of elections this year in 2024, right? You see how, you know, and it's early, right? You see how it's impacting
It's way
currency
early,
flows. Yep. So
super early in the game. So if this is a precursor to what's going to happen as we get closer and closer to the election in the United States, be some interesting times ahead for sure. Tons of volatility. Appreciate that, bro. That backdrop is definitely important when looking at right some of the historical moves and how prices are moving. So cool deal. Yeah, wild. Wild times we live. But the thing about it is, right, trading during these times, well, I don't know that I don't know that times will get any less crazy, but trading during crazy times helps give you perspective as we go into more crazy times, right? How to manage your trades, how to manage your risk, how to manage your thoughts and emotions as you deal with the day to day while the market is still moving, right? So it's a gives us good perspective on things and a different perspective than most people that don't dig into this stuff get. And so you're able to see it from a different side, right? And understand the movements and the policy changes a bit differently. So cool deal. Dollar CAD. We got that push to the upside. So here we are on the 4. We're going to zoom in just on this range here, right? And we're looking at price. We're looking at price here pushing down into the zone, which we got, right? And we got this little crown action to play out here. Whoops. Shoot. There we go. We got that crown action there, right? So we're pulling back now, but looking for this to continue to move to the upside, right? Again, like Benny said, it's hard to bet against the dollar right now. So we'll look for that to continue to move long, back at least to the top of the range. Could potentially go further, but looking forward to continue long. Okay, so coming back to that 1 hour time frame, right? We're looking at this move here at the end of last week. I'm looking for that deep retracement and price to turn over. All right, so I'll take that crown pattern out, and we got that right. 8-6 retracement. Price took off to the upside, got to the matching D extension. Now, same thing. Looking for a pullback here. Didn't push it to the 118 and 127 zone, which is okay, right? But if we get another deep retracement here, another buying opportunity, right? So those ABCD waves are playing out even in the range, down on the 1 hour time frame. So we can continue trading that as such until we get something different. Okay. So look for a 618 retracement there. And if we get that, then look for a buy to the matching extension 138,061. Okay. So that one's moving as we expected it to. Questions on the dollar CAD? No. All right. Full deal. Mm-mm-mm. I'm waiting on fundamentals, but I am keeping my eyes on these yens, right? So we know what the Reserve Bank of Australia said regarding uh upside risk to inflation, right? We come into the weekly time frame on this Aussie yen, 382 retracement, matching the extension is at 110,008. We probably get there. We're sitting at all-time highs right now. Good chance we break this level. Good chance we break this level and get to this 110, 110 area. So I'm watching to see if we get that break and retest, and that could be an opportunity to buy there. We come down to the daily and we're pushing into the 118 and 127 zone. Now, stochastic is still in the sell zone here as we push into these levels, but we may just get some action like this, right? So in the lower time frames, that pullback might be that opportunity to buy before we break that zone. Um, but that's the action that I'm looking for here. Um, maybe we could just continue to fly north. So we'll watch that. But the push into the 118, 127 zone, it gets us to that 110 level for that weekly D extension, right? So we got some confluence there from a higher time frame perspective. So as we continue to move down, that also gets us to the D extension on the 4, right? 109 is the D extension. We got this 110 level. Mark this out. We got that level there, right? Just above that D extension on the 4. Okay. So definitely looking for that action to come about. All right. And then as we come down to the 1, we're above the cloud and you see matching D extension there. So all signs are pointing north on this Aussie yen, right? I would love to see a low price first. If we can get a pullback to retest this previous resistance here in 618 level, right? There you go. And on your buying opportunity here, you get long, right? But we need this pullback first. And I don't know if we actually get one. So we'll watch and see how it goes though. But that's what we need to see in order to buy this to the upside to get us to that 110 level. Okay, so that's what I'm watching on that Aussie yen. Nothing right now, but just keeping my eyes peeled on it for a low price here for a potential buying opportunity. Questions on the Aussie yen? Oh, all right, cool deal. Let's look at some of these euros. Euro CAD. So this one has been interesting for a very long time. And I'm curious to see how this actually plays out. But we've been in this range for forever, right? Getting higher lows, right? But not able to make higher highs. So we got this little kind of wedge action happening here, right? So it's 80-20 on the sub fib to the upside. It's a 8-6 retracement on the capital fib to the downside, right? As we continue to move sideways. So I'm watching this to see, right? Do we get the upward pressure to take us to the top side of this wedge, or do we stay below this 147, 819 and break out to the downside and continue moving down, right? We'll continue to watch the euro, right? To see if the data supports more cuts, right? Sounds like that's where folks are leaning, but we'll watch that and see, right? The thing for the Canadian dollar is oil, right? We got oil pushing to the upside. So we got that support on the Canadian dollar, seasonality, war, um, uh, tropical hurricanes, right? So a lot of support for the Canadian dollar from an oil perspective could give us some strength for the Canadian dollar to rise. So that gives me the thought that we have potential to continue moving down here, seeing as we haven't gotten to 382 on the sub fib yet, right? So that's the weekly time frame. Coming here to the daily, right? We had that crown pattern play out. But we also haven't gotten a 382 here either. Okay. And there's your range. So I'm watching this closely to see if we're able to stay below this 147 range here. We got stochastic pushing up, approaching the sell zone. So I'd like to see that get into that sell zone and see if we get an opportunity to get short here. And then we'd have to start breaking some lower levels for this to continue moving down. But we could be in for sometime in the near future an opportunity to get short on this, to run this to the downside. So watching this one closely here. On the 4, this is what we're looking like, right? We tapped that 382 there. We pushed down into the 118, 127 zone, pushed up. Now we're pulling back. So we could see a crown pattern here to give us a high price. And that could give us an opportunity to sell this. And so saying that maybe we break that 147. So we'll see what happens here in this consolidation here. Be it to the downside or to the up. Okay, so that's on the 4. That's on the 4. Maybe we come a little bit deeper here and retest this previous resistance level. Down on a 1, we already got a deep retracement. So this is where things get a little mixed. Okay. Do we get the crown pattern to play out, or do we get this move to break the cloud and continue moving downside? So that's what I'm looking at here. If I can get some additional confirmation to the downside, cloud break specifically, I could look to get short sooner rather than later, right? But I need a nice cloud break here, as some additional confirmation of that move. If not, then we're looking at that crown pattern and a higher price before potentially getting that move to the downside here. Okay. So these are ones that I just got my eyes on that I'm watching. And see what happens here, right? Especially if the euro continues to weaken over the short term and potentially the long term. Okay. Questions on the euro CAD?
Nope.
Cool deal. Euro Swiss. I gotta look at this euro NZD too. Euro Swissy made a nice move back to the upside. So weekly, right? We broke this, was resistance, kind of served as a bit of support. We weren't able to close below, right? We broke down. We're pulling back now, right? So now I'm looking to see if these levels hold for another move back down to the downside. So we come here to the daily, stochastic in the sell zone, right? 99%. AB boundary coming off the high. I want to see this in the other direction too. Okay, that's what I thought. So 8-6 retracement off of the down fib. Do we get price to turn over and start making its way back down? Or is it just a pullback and then a continuation? Right. So we'll see. And that's going to come down to data. But whether it's a pullback and a continuation long or price to turn over and come all the way back down to the downside. Um, I don't look at the 5-minute time frame, and you can though. You can absolutely because the cloud is a cloud, right? So if you trade on the 5-minute time frame, you look for cloud breaks, right? Something to go back and test, right? Go back and test it, and see what it looks like, right? When price moves into your sweet spot, whichever you choose, then look at the cloud breaks to see how price moves from there, right? You can definitely go back and test that and see what it looks like. But cloud breaks are relevant, all right? Even on the 5-minute time frame, it's just about how long you're looking to stay in those trades, right? So yeah, I don't go down that low for confirmations, right? I just go one time frame lower. So if I do that, right? But I've kind of shifted my trading plan to just sticking on the time frame. So I'm not dropping down to the 15-minute for additional confirmation. I'll get the confirmation on that 1 hour time frame that I'm trading. So that's gonna be trade plan specific, but again, something to test to see if you want to add it to your trade plan or not. Um, Joy said cloud break on the 5-minute, 20 to 40 pips. There you go. Right. So um but yeah, if that's what you want to test by dropping down to those to get the confirmation, definitely test it and see how it plays out for you, right? Definitely nothing wrong with that. All right. So that's the daily. Come down to your 4, and I'm gonna run a fib off the low here. We got the swing, we got the cloud break, right? We haven't really gotten a pullback here. So you see price just continue to run along. So when that fib pops in, it's going to look like this. It's going to be a fresh AB boundary here on the 4th. So, like I said, it's a matter of is this just a pullback and continuation, right? Or is it a full on reversal coming back down to the lows here? So I'm looking for this pullback. So as it come down to the 1 hour, push into that 118 and 127 zone, previous weekly resistance and support, right? Are we able to turn over here and get and give us at least move back down? Okay. So here's an active 80-20. Keep your eyes on here. Like that. All right. So that's where we are on the Euro Swissy. Seeing if we get a retracement at least, and then we'll see if we get a continuation there. Okay. Possible 80-20 on the 4. Did you Where'd you run your fib from, Kay? From this low here?
I ran it from, no, I didn't run it from, where did I? Okay, I can't see it now.
Scroll back a bit and see if it pops in.
Because I think I deleted my fib.
Okay.
So yeah, never mind.
Because this fib to the downside would have been, right, shallow retracement push down, but we got to the D extension there, right? Then if you manually draw the fib in, there was your reversal here back to the upside.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we didn't quite take that A out. But we came close. Go ahead. Sorry.
Great. No, my bad. Thank you.
No, you're okay. You're welcome. All right. So that's where we're at. Any other questions on the Euro Swiss? No. All right. Take a look at this Euro NZD. This one is so intriguing to me, right? We talk. I think I mentioned this over the weekend, right? This is a crown pattern that we identified a long, long, long time ago, right? Long time ago. If we get this to turn over, and then we've just been consolidating here, right? So the question is, do we continue to see downward movement if the euro weakens? So we've been pushing back up in the short term, right? Strong move down, support level, double bottom, pressing back to the upside now. So we'll see if we get back to 182 or if we just pull back and then continue moving lower here. So down on the daily, you got a 382, right? This was originally an 80-20 play here, right? That we took advantage of back last year. And then we've just been in this range, just moving sideways across the screen. So we're pressing back to the upside now. Coming into the 4. This up a little bit. There we go. That's the capital fib that we're still within, right? We talked about the potential for price to go C to D, right? Now we press down to a 786 retracement level. D extension on the 4 is 186, right? But that's if we get some euro strength, okay? Or we move into more of a risk off sentiment, which right now, as Benny talked about, not really happening. So it'll be interesting to see how far this moves to the upside. But in the meantime, because that fib is so drawn out, I just want to look at the range here and see where we are. Okay, so we're pressing back to 618 retracement level there. All right. So now as we come down to the 1, we took out the A. I'm going to pull these down, put these in. Boom. 80-20 scenario here. If nothing else, a retracement and then potentially continuation, but that's going to be based on the euro, I think. But this is in our 118, 127 zone. Sell opportunity here to get us at least back to that 382 on the 1. All right. So there's trading what we see. Yeah, we got long-term projections and all of that, but just trading what we see. There's an 80-20 force here. Questions on the Euro NZD?
So on this one, you're expecting this one to move to the downside.
That's my thought. Short term, just playing this 80-20. Over the long term, if we get continued rate cuts in the Eurozone, yes. So from a long-term perspective, I'm waiting on additional data to support that idea of that crown pattern on the weekly time frame. But in the short term, looking for at least a retracement. You're welcome. Euro GBP, let's look at it. I haven't looked at it. So let's see. Oh, we're in huh. All right. So we pushed back, close that gap Ben was talking about, right? Stochastic in the sell zone. Had a gap down, pulled back, closed the gap, and now we're headed south. Okay. On the 4, we were looking for that retracement. And there's your 80-20 that played out. Boom. All right. No, no, it didn't. Tap the D extension here. Tap the D extension. But we got the reversal nonetheless. 50% retracement in line with key previous support, right? Daily and monthly perspective. Now we're turning over and pressing back down. We could be headed south here. That gave us what we wanted to see, right? Even though the 80-20 didn't necessarily play out, we had to stop outside that the extension. You probably would have been safe, but it's turning back over, right? We want to see that gap close, right? And the retest of those levels, and we got it. Let's see what the 1 looks like. It's in that retracement phase now. See if we get this cloud break here.
But
This could definitely come down.
the funny thing is, it's running flat on the. Look at the cloud on the 4.
Yeah.
And this what Euro GBP be cracking me up at. Because I'm looking for it to go to that deep retracement on the 4.
Down
I
here.
mean, but oh no, you know what? That field ain't even highlighted no more.
Are you talking about this one here? Yeah, it tapped that D extension right here.
Sure did.
That's what I was saying. If you had your stop placed right at that D, then it would have taken you out. If you had it placed a little bit below, you might have stayed alive as it moved back up, but it did hit that D extension. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting to see. We might not get above those levels. This might come back down. No, we'll see. We'll see if the cloud holds up there too. All right, because you got previous resistance that is coming into as well, or previous support. So
well, it's above the 200 on the 1 hour, but it is breaking. It's playing on the 200 on the 4. So like that engulf that candle we got now. My thing is if because it's rejecting right now, if it goes above that 200, I think we might get bullish.
Okay.
Because that cloud is right above the is that what's the one of the red one, the conversion line?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically breaking, right there. So if it break above that, that's why I was waiting to see if it'll stay bullish, because how that cloud is formed.
And it may, right? This may even just be the pullback to retest that cloud.
Because even on the 1 hour, even though it closed that gap, if you look, I mean, not the 1 hour, the daily, it's as it will be breaking the trend line, retesting it back. I don't know why I want this to succeed as much as I do not like this pair.
Listen.
And I as much as I don't like it, I trade it very often. I don't know why.
That's funny.
I want to break the steer.
Right, right. I definitely took my hands off this one, as you can see. You did get a trend line break.
No, Reese. Euro GPP is not Jesse Jackson. We got to keep hope alive. There's so much potential on the upward.
We'll see. We'll see. If the euro stays weak, I don't know. I don't know. We could end up being range bound between 84,000 and 84,904.
I mean, but all in all, I do want to see it touch the 200 on the daily, to be honest, because then that would be a third touch. I mean, on the 200, and the 200 is like it's at 85652. That's where the 200 is on the daily.
85. Okay.
So even if it can give me that satisfaction, I'll be okay. But
I dig it. We'll see. You got right, because this was your support. Oops. So this is your resistance level now, 85,405. So if you break that, that's your next level. Maybe you see it. Maybe you see it. Maybe that becomes the top of the range on that. We'll see. We'll see.
well, it's in my throwaway account, so I'm just gonna close it, and I'm gonna come back to it a month later.
and you'll see it probably still sitting in the same spot. Cool deal. Cool deal. Let's take a look at the euro yen is still flying to the upside, but we're coming into some new levels. So monthly time frame, we're pushing into the 118, 127 zone, right? No retracement. Okay. Boom. 118, 127 zone. On the weekly, we hit a D extension with this last push up. So that one's done. Okay. That one's done. We come down to the daily, we hit a D extension. So that one's done also. Waiting on new swing highs to form. Right. So no action. No action. Just straight up. On the 4 hour, so I had a fib on this. There we go. We're headed to the D extension. So this 175 level is definitely in sight. Definitely in sight. So we'll see how far we push here. Right? Maybe we get a pullback to retest 171 and continue, but just like the others, I don't know that we get deep retracements. Okay, so coming down to the one, this is where we stand. Right? Had to draw that fib in manually, but there's our AB boundary. Got an 80-20 here, but probably hit this D extension at 173, even with the weak euro. Right? So that's just going to continue to rise. So I'm going to keep the cloud on that and see. Let's see what this was. Yeah, that's an old fib. see if we get a cloud break on this, but not expecting anything anytime soon. So just want to take a look at that one there. And then we'll round out with these pound yen also. 206. I remember a while ago I said, I don't know if we get there. We're definitely getting there. We're definitely getting there. 206, 231. The extension on the monthly time frame. The extension on the weekly time frame. We're definitely getting there. So we'll see what happens as we get there. Daily time frame, D extension already achieved as we broke that level. Haven't had a retest of 201 yet. So if we get a pullback, right, be to retest that level and then head to 206. All right, so 206 is my next target on this pound yen. 4-hour D extension achieved, continuing to rumble to the upside. Okay. This new AB boundary will look like this. 80-20 scenario if we push into that 206, 231, or when we push into that 206, 231 level. So that's where I'm at. Is watching this next level now and see what happens then, right? So it'll come down to the 80-20, 206, 231 in the same range. So we'll see what happens when price gets here. That's the area. Okay. Questions on the pound yen? Nothing doing. Looking for more upside pressure. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? Interesting times, good people. Continue to be patient. Continue to be patient. Pick your spots. You don't have to trade all the time, but pick your spots, the ones that meet your rules, and then pull the trigger. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, well, not really. Just remember, it's a short week this week, at least here in the States, because of the 4th of July holiday, which is on a Thursday, which means it's probably still going to be slow on Friday, but we still have key economic data coming out this week, right? So keep your eyes and ears on that, and we'll definitely get it updated inside the community as the data is released.
Yes, sir. All right, good people. Good luck, Joy. Prayers up. You got this. Joy has an interview at 8 o'clock. Thoughts your way as you go into that. You got it.
Good luck, Joy.
Bring joy to the interview. Bring joy to the interview. All right, good people. Find your 1% today. All right. You got this. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. 6 p.m. tonight, talking about Candlestick Bible in the accountability group. So definitely check it out. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk about that hot sauce mustard. I'll tell you guys a story about that at some point. That's funny. Have a phenomenal day, everybody. We'll see you.